What's up, it's your boy Leo Faded. Welcome to the Straight Faded Podcast. And today I got a special guest, and he's coming back again, MegaMan.
Yo, what's
How
up,
you doing,
man?
man?
It's been a minute. A lot of people don't know this little deja vu. March 12th, we did the podcast.
On your show?
Yeah, no, March 12th. It was from last year. I did your show,
Oh,
and today it's March 12th. Now I'm doing your show again.
yeah, that's crazy.
I know. Where you been, man? How's the harbor area?
Man, it's treating us good.
I know.
We've been getting followings.
Where
Our
else?
podcasts are going good.
Yeah, you gotta stay grinding. You're just hustling. You're still doing it, but I'm telling you, I saw like starting this year, 500 to maybe 600 podcasts already quit,
Damn, that's a lot.
and that's from last year that I knew. It's the grind where it's it's survival of the fittest, where we used to help out a lot of people, but we're seeing to the point now, the ones who are still hanging on, still grinding, they're out there now where we already set our positions how certain podcasters have their certain like cities.
Yeah.
And with me now, I don't know if you know this, but my podcast used to be called the MegaMan Podcast.
Yeah, you changed it.
Yeah, I had to because I was gonna get sued by Nintendo. I was like, fuck all this shit. So, me and my friends, we were coming up with ideas, and you should call it the Lobby Social Experiment Podcast. And to me, it was the best fit because now that I'm home, it's kind of like I don't have to travel. I'm over here in Long Beach and getting to know my city, but also in the harbor area. Like, you got Weedmas, Wilmington. I said it right.
Mhm.
San Pedro and all, but it's at Lakewood. I mean, if you know the history of the harbor area in Long Beach is still considered like harbor area, no matter what. But I've been so focused on like with Long Beach and the harbor area, trying to find a lot of good people. But at the same time, I made a lot of connections outside of Long Beach, where with the Long Beach Social Experiment now, I'm only bringing on 2 guests a month. Someone from local in the harbor, Long Beach area, but also someone from outside that area. And also with some of the episodes that I'm doing solo, it's going to be very different, but it's kind of like it's going to wake up your eyes. But it's going to be very structured. But right now, it, I'm just kind of glad because a lot of people don't know this. I don't do guest appearances no more.
And that's crazy too, but a lot of people though, I don't know if they know this or they got to see our episode, but you got number one, number two?
Yeah,
Was it?
so at the time I got number one last year
Last
in
year.
March. I got number one best podcast of Solish magazine. I was rated number two best podcast, uh, from that magazine from the OC, IE, and LE put together. And to me, it was an honor. But I'm gonna tell you, there was a lot of people who did it was like, what, this motherfucker, like.
Didn't expect you?
They were talking shit in the DMs. I don't know. And there were some podcasters who were crying like little bitches, like, oh, I should have got it. I worked so hard than you, like that. But for you crying like that, that means in a way, like,
Yeah. And I brought that up just because I think you got nominated again.
I got nominated again. So this time for Hello of Long Beach Go. We don't know yet because when this episode does come out, it will be after. But I got nominated again for Absolute Best of Long Beach. So this nomination, this is the who's of Long Beach. I mean, we're not talking about no little or we got these are killers, and they put a a category for local podcasts. And when you look at the page of who to vote, bro, it's some killers in Long Beach. And I'm like, I had people on my DMs like, you voted for me, right? You voted for me. It's like, yeah, like, cool. But when it came to local podcasts, it was unanimous. Like, a lot of people were voting for me. Now I'm in the finale with, it's some person who, it's a doctor's podcast. The Long Beach Social Experiment podcast will talk about the change. And also some paranormal podcasts, but I'm right there and I've been just pushing hard to really get it because I worked so hard. I worked so hard doing the podcast for 6 years, and to be nominated in the finale, and if I ever do win it, it's for the dedication I worked so hard to get, but also it's for bragging rights because there's some stupid, two dumbass fucking podcasts, trying to say I'm the best Long Beach podcast and all, which is, I'll say it, man. Tacos and Workout, West Coast Graffiti. You guys are from Long Beach. You say you're the best. He's like, well, I feel like I'm the best. No, you're not. Okay. And the thing is, with that, I'm doing that for a reason to let people know, like, who is the best. I mean, we're all the best at what we do and stuff like that. But if you're going to start calling me out or take little jabs at me, pretty much in a way, they need to stay in their fucking lane because I put in the work and shit, whatever. And I want to say this. If you say that you're a fucking podcaster, where's a lot of your episodes at? You're a YouTuber. You are not a podcaster. Mm-hmm. This is the thing I hate. YouTubers think, I'm a podcaster. Okay, you have all these videos, but you can't transfer it to audio? Like, I just don't get it. People were like, oh, it's all visual and stuff like that. This is the thing when it comes to our people who want to start doing podcasts. Know the fucking history of podcasts, how it started, to really understand it. It was all audio. But now then YouTube and this, like, oh, I get more numbers on YouTube. Okay, where's your audio? Like, that's the thing right there where if you have all these episodes, put them out on audio as well, just to back yourself. That's why I had to correct certain people who say, I'm a podcaster. It's like, wait, but you're only on YouTube. Yeah, but where's your stuff on audio? Oh, I don't have it. Then you're considered as a fucking YouTube. So with YouTube fuckers, like, I don't even see them on the list of the best podcasts in Long Beach. Because if they were, it would be a different story.
They probably don't even qualify because they don't got the audio.
Well, I already know who, because they say there's certain people that just voted for them like 2 or 3 times and that was it. You got the most votes. I had over close to 3 to fucking 4,000. I heard that's word on the street. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I'm just trying to get it out there, and at the same time, it opened up a lot of doors for me to really get my podcast out there, and also at the same time make a lot of connections in the city of Long Beach. I'm in the process of bringing the who's. I want to get the mayor on. I want to bring some council people. I want to bring some people who started the family. I'm trying to get the Pixby Nose family, who started and they settled here in the city of Long Beach. A lot of people don't know this. The city of Long Beach, before, the city was called Wilmore. Wilmore. That was the actual original name before it was changed to Long Beach. So I want to bring a lot of good people on that talk about the history, because there's a lot of history a lot of people don't know from the harbor area. Like, some good history. It was like, oh, I didn't know about this. And that's what I want to do. I work so hard. I want to make connections, but to me, like, if you're going to come to Long Beach, you got to check in with fucking MegaMan.
Check in with MegaMan.
Not with Swifty Blue. I'm talking with real MegaMan. Like, I always tell people, you're always in Long Beach. Did you check in with MegaMan? No.
Nope.
Next time you do, dog.
Yeah, that's crazy. And then I saw that you went to like a peace treaty type of thing. What was it? Like for podcast type of thing?
What was it called?
It was I think it was like right after we did our...
Oh, the Cali back thing.
Yeah.
Like with American Cholos. It was cool.
How was that?
A lot of people were bashing on him, and Gil's the homie. Gil's the homie for American Cholos. Shouts to Gil, Boo Boo, and the crew.
Shout out Gil.
Notorious, the photographer. I just really wanted to go and understand, like, what was the message all about and stuff. And I brought my notepad, and I'm gonna say this very bluntly. I learned a lot, and I learned that day who not to fuck with. Yeah, it's always going to be like that. And I always bring my notepad to see what can I do to make a difference in my community. What can I do to make a difference in the podcast or in myself? So I was trying to learn, and what I was realizing that last year I was in a crossroad, because going to those events, seeing the people, I could tell the atmosphere was changing, the energy was changing, people were parting ways. It's like, you can just tell it was very tension. And I learned a lot, from that Cali Mac event. And I met some interesting people. And because of them, I had certain people on my show. I remember for the first time I met the homie Bozo the rapper.
Shout out Bozo. I've been seeing the interview. You've been going live with him a lot too.
Yeah, I was in the live. Yeah, so I met him over there, get to know him, and Bozo's a homie. Bozo likes my... I'm telling you, a lot of people like my page. It's interesting, but that's the homie right there. He's a good guy, and I follow his sister. His sister makes some bomb-ass babusas.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So it's nothing but love, and that's the thing. You want to surround yourself nothing but good people. You don't want to be like positive kumbaya vibes. Like, come on, this is B100. Like, you just want to follow just the right people because well, a lot of people don't know. Like, hey, people tell me, yo, Megan, I want to be your friend. I'm good. I don't need no friends because what's your intention? Why do you want to be my friend for? To get a leverage, to backstab me in
The
here?
cloud.
Exactly, but also I put people in categories because okay, this person, this who or she is like okay, I'll fuck with them. Nope. Yes. Yes. No. Like I have to because I have to really know who's legit or not.
Now, being in the podcast game, have you been like not blackballed, but like blocked from certain podcasts? Like me, my bad. But for example, like there's certain podcasters that be like, "Oh, I'm gonna hit you up for an interview, blah blah blah," but then they see me, I'm like collabing or get along with certain podcasters, then they cut me off. Like,
I've been through all that stuff. I've been through all the LGBT. I've been through all the Black Lives Matter, the jabs. I've been through the crabs in a bucket, the divisions, tribal podcasts. I've been through all that stuff. I had people try to take me down or something like that, or like oh MegaMan, you don't like Democrats, you're a Republican or this. I've been through all that crap for the past 3 years, and I'm still fucking here. So to me, it's like knowing what I know. You got to go through the fucking fire. A lot of people are gonna love you, a lot of people are gonna praise you, and a lot of people are gonna fucking despise you. But I don't give a fuck. As long as I stay true to myself, which I always have, and I don't wear a mask. A lot of podcasters, a lot of certain people wear fucking masks because they care about their image, they care about the fucking clout, they care about the fucking followers and shit. But when you see them in real life, they're a fucking piece of shit. Like, and this is one thing I always tell podcasters in this: never meet your fucking heroes.
damn, for
Never.
real.
I'm just being straight up, dude. Never meet your fucking heroes because the thing is, there was a person, um, who I thought he was like kind of like a hero, but like when I met him, he was a piece of shit.
Heroes turn into rivals type
Yeah,
of shit.
no, you know what? He does his thing. I'm not. I see him doing his thing. I give him a little shine. He's does some news and sports in here, but he was an inspiration. But when I met him, you know, my expectation of him was like, oh, that was it. Or you help out certain people and you get a little advice, and they're assholes. They're
Wait,
assholes.
we thought about the George Lopez and what's the full name?
Ralph Barbosa.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, it is what it is. I mean, looking back on that, I know it's only been like a couple weeks now, but like Ralph's doing his thing, George Lopez, George is George. Is he gonna support us? Like Rasa and all that stuff. I mean, that's on him. I know a lot of the people that he clicks with and all, but
But you
I
feel like it's a clout thing? How how we talk about that he has a
yeah,
big clout?
yeah, it could be staged, it could be clout and all, but it's just a lot of people always tell me, yo, Mega Man, you gotta address this. They're instead like, why do you? I don't do reactions. Like, if that's who he is as a person, where he wants to support all these agendas and all that because he's a corporate puppet, then that's on him. Get your money. But when it comes to our people, what do you want me to say? What do you want me to do this? Like, you should do something. But they're scared to stick up for us and all that because of corporate. If you say this, we're going to cut your sponsors and you're not going to get paid and all. So it's like, okay. So if the corporate tells you, here's this, how high you want me to jump? I'm not doing it for money. That's why, in a way, I had networks, sponsors. A lot of people want to like, I want to be on, I want your show to be on my network, but you got to change this and this. It's like, fuck that. I'm gonna be who I am, and I'm going to speak my mind. When the day they tell me you can't say this, you can't say that, that is the time where it's like, oh, our government right now, the social media, the platforms, we're being censored.
How about your Instagram? Has it been censored? Have you been
Oh, I've
taken
been
down?
demonetized. I had my page deleted and all that stuff. I had certain DMs from certain elites. I can't say which certain they came to my house. There has always been rumors of other podcasters who put some crazy shit, and they were on the FBI watch
Oh,
because
damn.
of what they post. And just to make an example of certain people or certain podcasters or influencers, they froze their money. they freeze your money. They'll make like, yo, we're here, motherfucker. Like, keep on saying that shit. You won't get no money for a whole
Damn,
year.
is that serious?
No, this is serious. Like, and this is the thing because they want us to fight each other. That's how it is. That's why we're not united. We fight each other too much. Fuck him, fuck her. Like what I just said, we talked earlier about those other two podcasts. That's how it is. But to me, it's like I'm looking after me because who else is gonna do that? I know I have to stick up for me because of what my beliefs are, or you have to part ways because there's so much drama, negative, toxic, hypocrites, backstabbers. Like I saw all this shit, and I was like, I'm done. Like I knowing what I know now, you can't fuck with people no more. But the thing is, as long as you stay fucking true to yourself, you post what you want to fucking post, and people are gonna love you, people are gonna despise you. But the one thing I like about the most Little Faded, they always say, you know what I like about you, Mega Man? Why? Because you keep it fucking 100 and you never back down.
No filter.
Fuck the filters and shit. Those are only for like the girls who are like use a filter and you see them like, fuck, man.
You forgot your filter today.
Nah, man, dude, I woke up and I don't use filters and shit, but we're just living in a day of age. Everything's like, what's trending right now? Who's, social media, clouds, you got the feminists, you got the what's going on in Capitol Hill, Twitter, Epstein's Island, you got this. It's like, it's this, I always say this. All this drama that you see with Russia and Ukraine and Andrew Tate and all this bullshit, don't get distracted by that. Follow what's really going on Capitol Hill, Twitter files, and Epstein's Island. Follow the money.
I think we're getting to the conspiracies now.
Well, you gotta go. You gotta follow the money, and this is the thing where they use this UFO, fake alien invasion, false flags, and this Project High Beam, Blue Beam, and all that stuff. It's just to distract you of what's really going on, because what's coming is no freedom, government's taking over, new world order, all this crap. It's all coming. This is all orchestrated back in the 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, and 80s. And we talked before we did this episode of a lot of stuff that I can't tell you because this is all projected from the government. They knew. They have their books like, okay, on this year from 1980 to 1990, this is what we're going to do. From 1990 to 2000, this is what we're going to do. You have to see what's going on. And people, like, it's going to get worse. And this is the thing I hate. I hate to see a lot of people spend money on stupid shit and they go out and party like, oh, I'm going to live life. I wouldn't be living life right now. Like, yeah, have fun, but be careful with your money. Because now this recession, I mean, this is going to be a worse depression that you can't get your money out of your banks. Like we're in $33 trillion in debt and everything's going up. They're even going to take whoever had retirement, they're going to take their money away. Like everything. Like they're making it harder for us to really survive.
What is your take on American Cholo?
American Cholo, shouts to Gil, Boo Boo. There's the homies. They're fucking doing it. They're not talking about it. They're being about it, and they're pushing the message. I like them because they're very entertaining. They always help out the community. They're just putting it out there. They're out there showing love. They're speaking facts. They're trying to bring people together because everyone's all different. You might have a different opinion, have different opinion, and what he's doing is, hey, let's sit down, address it. Let's have a conversation for us to push forward. So the message, and also with them to be informative and see what we can do, and they're getting out there. And I was like, I had some, some questions for Gil and who he is, and getting to understand who he is as a person, and it's come up, and how he was back then and where he's at now. He's a huge inspiration, and I really don't give a fuck if people say, oh, why you support him? Oh yeah, he's Cali Mac and all. I don't give a care. Who else is doing that for our people? Like trying to bring a lot of our different types of our cultures together as one. A lot of people don't know this. When he did the Cali Mac event, there was a lot of different types of people that came. You know, there was some that we don't agree with, but hey, put our differences to the side and see what we can do to be leaders and for our community and let people know like, yo, this is what's really going on. Like, this is what I heard from the Long Beach Social Experiment. This is what I heard from Tony of the Wizards episode. This is what I heard from Gil. This I heard from Credible Javier or this, whatever. We're just trying to push out the message to let our people know, like, yo, like, this is what's going on. Like, we're just letting you guys know, like, get your shit together.
Do you have any more upcoming like podcasts you're gonna be doing, or
Right now, I'm
you're
on a
picking
pod.
certain?
Oh yeah, I'm on a podcast invasion right now. So I've been banging out a lot of episodes. I'm just trying to bang a lot of content out, you know, much as I can because you know there's an event coming up in March 31st. But we'll do another episode and talk about after. But I'm really focused on that event for absolute best of 2023, trying to be, you know, the best podcast, trying to get that award. So I've been pushing out a lot of content. I rarely do guest appearances. I think you're my first or second, you know, guest appearance. I always do it with King Mexico's podcast. Shouts to him. Movies on Weed, Brown's podcast, just certain ones I'm very particular because I like to have a sit down conversation. I already know them, who they are as people, and we're gonna get into some heated debates this year.
How
I
many?
like.
Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, I like to start challenging myself because I don't get too comfortable. I always love challenges.
So what's one of your challenges that you're gonna step it up? Or for your podcast, cause I'm gonna ask you how many episodes you got so
Right
far.
now, I'm at 603, but this is the thing. I always
Oh, they're
talk.
myths, right?
They're all mixed, so I have them all like ready how I want it to be. And a lot of people are like, "Oh, I don't believe you. I want to show proof." We're living in a day of age where everyone wants data, proof, and this for what? Is it for bragging rights? Is it to be conceited? I don't need to do all that because it's all out there. Like, there's a lot of episodes that I haven't even put out that they're really deep in my heart. Like, when a lot of people tell me, "What is your podcast? What is the Long Beach Social Experiment podcast?" You know, like, I want to experiment and I want to have a sit down conversation with people and all, but I want to start pushing out facts. You know, there's no drama in this. I want to push out facts where a lot of our people are not talking about. They're scared to push out certain things because they're scared they might get repercussions or something might happen to them or the government might do this or you might get arrested or someone's going to record and take you to court because of this and all. I'm just, to me, my head's like this.
Does it get you traumatized, or does it get you like worried about what you
No,
gotta say sometimes?
no, not really. I think in a way what I'm having a hard time is sleeping because I have so many fucking ideas, little faded, like just talking about certain things like, oh, I want to talk about this. I want to talk about that. Let me do some research. Like, I really want to talk about certain things. And that's where I feel like, oh, I want to write this. I want to write that. Like, I have an idea. Like, but I always get those naysayers like, be careful, MegaMan, I wouldn't be doing that. Then you go shut the fuck up and you fucking do the podcast, motherfucker. Like, a lot of people always try to look out for me. I get it. It's just that my mouth is unfiltered, but there's a line I don't cross. But the thing is, I'm not gonna have anyone tell me, shut the fuck up, you can't speak on this or that. I'm gonna tell you a story, a quick story. Do a lot of people don't know this. I didn't think this is the first time I talked about it. The reason why I really wanted to do podcasts, and I thought about this, when I was living in Northern California at the time, was with my mom and some friends. I got invited to a family gathering, and I felt so out of place that a lot of my family on my mom's side were very intellectual, political, and all that stuff. And I didn't know that they were using certain big words or certain terms or this, whatever. At the time, I was like, I don't know this. And they were just criticizing me, making fun of me, and all that stuff. And I realized, you know what? I'm gonna go back to reading books, doing audio. Maybe one down the road I'll do a podcast, but I'm gonna do a lot of research and a lot of histories and a lot of facts because if I ever meet certain of those families or certain people ever again, I'm not going to be the laughing stock. I'm going to be the one where people are watching me talk, because now the playing field is even now. So all the stuff that you didn't want to lecture me or teach me in this, I had to learn for myself. Now I know where you get your shit from. I know all that stuff. So that's why I always stay up 24/7, Little Faded, to really understand what's going on in our government, in the system, what's going on with the world when it comes to conspiracies. A lot of people don't talk about fact checks before the government erases everything. I'm learning much as I can, and I'm gonna fucking push it out. Do I care if Instagram or certain people erase it? I don't give a fuck. Along if I push the narrative and push the message and it's getting out, I'm cool with that. All the pictures, this, whatever, I don't give a care if I lose it. But you know why? Because it's all in my brain. It's all in my memory. It's all in my brain. Who gives a fuck? People care about social media so much, like it kills them deep inside. It's like, dude, they can't live with themselves. And then this is where, when it comes to social media, Little Faded, we do not make the time and effort to get to know each other. For you and I to have a sit down conversation is rare like this. But when you have a person, do you really want to have a person to have a conversation with on the DMs, texting, but he doesn't want to talk to you on the phone? He doesn't want to sit down with you, don't want to get to know who you are as a person having lunch? I don't want those types of people. All those Gen Zs and all this crap, they're fucking everything all up. They think like they know it all, but they don't know how to talk. That's one of the reasons why I wanted to start a podcast, to really know my history, really know the facts, but have a sit down conversation with you or anyone else, because that's what I like to do. I like to understand people, and maybe I'll come up with my assumptions, who you are as a person, of how you conduct yourself. And that's the thing, just getting to know people and just push forward, and that's it. And just have a healthy communication.
That's crazy. Well, how do you stay positive? Like, you go through a lot of shit, you know.
It's
Well,
hard.
especially being in the podcast game or in the entertainment, better because you get hate online in real life,
Yeah.
and they throw you all these bad things.
I'm going to say this. I know everything. I know everything in the entertainment, podcast, comedy. I know it all. I know people who I support, and there's people I do not support. And that's the thing. You just have to go through that fucking fire. And knowing what I know now, I already have my clique. I already have, I don't want to say like a clique, like what, division, tribal, you're being a hypocrite. I like to have my circle very small, and they know who they are. And the ones who I thought they were cool and all, and I parted ways, I don't fuck with them, because they already showed their they already showed their true colors, and I don't fuck with people who are snake in the grass. Would you want to fuck with someone who's gonna backstab you,
No.
and be a snake in the grass and ruin you and say you're a cool person and backstab you and blackmail you, or try to fuck up your podcast?
Damn.
The reason why people do that for is because they're jealousy, they're envy, because I'm always posting, I'm always doing this, I'm doing that. A lot of people think, MegaMan, you're fucking cocky, you're big-headed, you're conceited. Why? Because it's always about you. You always post a picture of you where you're at and this. Yeah, I have to, motherfucker. Like, why? Because people want facts. People want I don't believe you. This is where I'm at. This is what I'm doing. This is who I'm bringing on. You have to let them know this is what I'm doing with my podcast, because people are going to be like, oh, he's not talking about it.
Show and tell.
He's being about it. I'd rather show my actions first, then that's where the cocky, conceited, all this crap.
Yeah.
I say in the end, I could, if I'm going to say, hey, I'm going to get this motherfucker on, it's going to happen. The last episode that we did, remember I told you I was bringing all those people on?
Remember you said you're going to bring Concrete, I think? Then you got him, right?
I already have him.
Yeah.
I already got Concrete. I told you I got Commitment Soldier from Foods Gone Wild. Got him. That's the homie. That is the homie right there. Commitment Soldier, Frank Hernandez, and his wife. Good people. I'm going to tell you something. Shout outs to Gil from American Cholo, but also shout outs to Frank, Commitment Soldier. He changed my life.
In what way?
A lot of things I had to part ways with last year. Trying to get my life back in order and all that. And he was always there, and he keeps it very 100. And having him on my podcast, and he put me in a situation which I did not want to talk about, about my drinking, like my DUIs, and reflecting and all. What did you learn? It was something where it's like, wow, I like that.
A reality check.
Yeah, yeah. He kept it 100, and there was a lot of other people like King Mexico, the homie from Brooklyn, Flo Brown, movies on weed, just certain people and stuff like that. My family. You just, like I said, you got to have a small niche community circle like that you trust, where you can have conversations with people. But having a lot of people that came on my show, it's like the who's. You know, I can't be considered the best podcast in Long Beach. I mean, I'm just being frank, but knowing what I know now, looking back from podcast episode 1 until now and guest appearances, I matured. I
Yeah,
matured
and
a
like
lot.
looking back, which what when you started, what episode you said like this is the one, or which one got your attention, like keep you going? Because you probably did like what 3 episodes, and then maybe out of those three, the second one maybe was the best one.
Man, dude, there's so many good episodes I have with so many good people, but I can't say who's the best. They're all the best, but each episode, it changed my life, and it gave me a new perspective. Just parting ways with a lot of the nonsense, the haters, trolls. Focusing on family, focusing on what you're doing, and all, and just living life. Just doing what you want to do, doing what you love. A lot of people see the passion in what I do, and I care. And this is the thing, when you're a podcaster, it's not about just bringing a guest on. It's about having a relationship with you, getting to know your city, getting to know your community, getting to know all your podcast listeners who listen around the world, and just interacting, just having conversations with people. And, to me, we talked about it before, podcast saved my life. I was antisocial, depressed. I was going through some shit. And for some kind of reason, podcasts always saved me. I mean, if I wasn't doing podcasts, I'll be honest, I'll be dead.
Yeah, look at us right now. Like we're doing podcast, and you look good. Like you look
I,
healthy. You look
I
like
look
you.
fat. I'm like, this
But
is what
not. Yeah,
I
not.
mean, that's I put a sweater on. I'm telling you, I've been getting so many people giving me love and giving me a whole bunch of craft beers because I haven't done an
The beer
episode,
belly.
the beer belly and stuff. So I just been like living life. But like, last year I was in a crossroad. You know, I was, last year my son had a stroke, and yeah, I was on my high. I
The,
was already going
I
high.
don't know how did that affect your podcast? Cause I'm
I
pretty
was
sure
gonna
you
quit.
stopped. Yeah,
I was
you
gonna quit.
probably affected you
I
bad.
was gonna quit because my son had a stroke, and found out he got at school, and he had meningitis, and it just fucked him up really to the brain, like everything, to the point I had to teach him how to walk, to bite, get stuff, or move your fist and all that, because it really took its toll. And at the same time, I was going through some situations with this certain podcast I was supporting. I can't mention who, but from the Harbor area. But I had to part ways with all the stuff that for us being podcasters, knowing what I know now, if a podcaster is going through some situations and putting that putting business out there on blast and getting other people in trouble or fired or this because of you keep on mentioning, or you're talking crap about other people that you had in your show, to me it's like I'm done. Like I can't. And to me it was a wake up call, because this is the thing I noticed: when you're going through some shit, like you're really going through some shit, you're gonna find out who's really gonna be there for you or not. And there were certain people who were there for me, for my son, but a lot of people I thought were gonna be there and support, they don't want nothing to do. So to me, going through a situation like that with my son, what it did was sharpen my mind to really like, okay, that's it. Like I'm gonna go for broke. Like I'm gonna focus on my kids. I'm gonna focus on the podcast. I'm gonna part ways. That's it. Like there is certain guests I was supposed to have on. but they're fucking scared. They're fucking scared to come on. Yo, MegaMan, I want to be your show, but can we not talk about this and this and this? Nah, motherfucker. Like, we're gonna talk about it. We're gonna address it because I'm gonna tell you this: to any guest that comes on my motherfucking show, I don't edit shit. So whatever the stuff that you promote on your Instagram or what I hear and all that stuff, I'm gonna talk about it. And I'm getting a lot of advice, getting a lot of influence from certain podcasters of what they do and how they conduct themselves with the certain questions they give to their guests. And that's where a lot of people are like, I don't want to do it. Because in a way, that means to tell me that you have something to hide. That means in a way, you don't want to do my podcast because you might be in relations with a certain person that I might not be affiliated with. Or is this something where it's like they're being hypocrite where, oh, I had to part ways and this, whatever. But you over here running your mouth to a whole bunch of motherfucking people, but you're too scared to come on my motherfucking podcast? Like, man, you're a pussy, dude. Like, I don't give a fuck. Like, it just, don't be telling me that shit like any other guest for 2 years. I'm going to come on. Like, if you wanted to come on, okay, let's go do an episode this week. What's up? Oh, I can't. It has to be next year. Oh, I can't. It has to be. There's always excuses. So to me, what I did, all those fuckers, you know who you guys and ladies are? I just fucking blocked you. Like, I don't need all that crap. I want people like, I'm hungry. This is who I am. What do I have to do to get on your show? Because my show's invitation only. You don't want no bad apples. You don't want no clout chasers and this, whatever. And I this is a thing. This is a process. Like, what do you mean? I just come on and like, no. It takes about a year, like, for a person to come on my show. And I don't give a care what people say, like, oh, what the fuck? Like, it has to be that way because you want to sit down with that person and get to know who he or she's all about. And at the same time, you want to see if the energy's right, the atmosphere, you know, how if you bring this guest on, how's the episode going to be? Do they know, are they professional? Can they conduct themselves? Are they good talkers? Do you see a relationship, helping each other out? Those are the type of things that I want. And this is why a lot of people on my DMs, like, I want to come on. Doesn't work like that. You came to me. I didn't go to you. This is invitation. Like, you have to capture my eye. And this is the thing, like, oh, I'm a musician. I have one song. What we can talk about? That's a 15-minute episode.
I've been getting some of those people too that hit me up to interview them, and then I try to go through the stuff and see what I could get out of them. Don't get nothing. Like maybe one song.
And they DM you, I want to come on. I have one or two songs, but you DM and let's say for example you brought an artist, but he has 2 songs. They're good hits. You bring him on. Yes. No. Yeah. Yes. No. They don't know how to talk. So if you're an artist and you're like, oh, how do I get on the Straight Faded podcast or the Lobby Social Experiment? You got to have more songs. You got to know how to conduct yourself. You got to know how to talk. Like, talking is something where ask me questions where I'm asking you. Like, you know, everyone's all focused about music, but we want to know who you are as a person, he or she, when you're not doing music. Oh, I didn't know you like to do this and all. And it adds more conversation, adds more minutes, so there will be no fucking dead air.
I see you a lot into conspiracies, and one of them is the ice wall.
Yeah, the ice wall to me is something where it's like, what? We're going to talk about flat earth. I'm going to tell you, it makes you think and wonder. I mean, I'll be honest with you, like TikTok, I know it's owned by China and all.
You be on TikTok?
Fuck no. Because the thing is, if guys and ladies, if you're on TikTok, if I were you, you just fucked yourself because, oh yeah, I want to get the numbers and this. I'm going to tell you, if you're a podcaster, don't be fucking doing these dancing videos and shit, whatever. You're a podcaster. If I see people on TikTok doing stupid videos and dancing and all, that's telling me, wow, your numbers suck. No, I'm being serious. Your numbers suck on your podcast or on your IG because you're doing that and you don't. Yeah, I mean,
I'm trying to get the numbers up.
Yeah, I'm not a clout chaser. I don't do numbers like, oh my god, MegaMan's doing a dance video and this. Fuck all that. But you just have to be careful with TikTok because a lot of people are not reading the community guidelines or the policies, and pretty much in a way, a lot of people are leaving TikTok because you know, people getting their pages deleted, their accounts erased from their banks and all that stuff. It has all your info. And also at the same time, TikTok is really killing the youth's mind.
And like TikTok has a lot of things that we're not even supposed to be seeing because you said it's from China, right?
Yeah, so
So
in a way, this is the thing about TikTok. We post all nothing but stupid stuff. But if you go into the TikTok in China, it's all educational
yeah, I'll
stuff.
say they got all the good stuff. Like they teach them the good stuff, and they teach us, or they give us the bad stuff.
So what they're trying to do is to weaken our minds, to weaken the United States and the people's the women's the minds to really fuck up their heads like, oh, this is what's going on. And it's just, I'll be honest, like, if you're gonna have an Instagram, they should have a law. Kids, like, they should start using social media after 18.
Yeah, that
Because the thing is, you gotta have a communication and sit down. And there's a lot of people that don't know how to handle social media. And because if you're on your phone too much, and if you saw the movie documentary on Netflix called Social Dilemma,
yeah.
it tells you about it. So let's say, for example, I have this phone right here, put it right here, and it's on right now, like whatever. My iPhone is working, it's listening, it's monitoring, studying my movements. To me, if I'm not here on Earth, this phone has all my data, all who I am as a person. And we talked about earlier, all the
Also
stuff
the
is going to be cloned.
also
We're going to be
cloning.
cloned.
You have to talk about ice wall and the clone. Let's go with the ice wall.
Let's
'Cause
go on the ice wall
that's
first.
where I find out about the other worlds. Or besides the ice wall, on TikTok. That's where I found out. If it
Yeah.
wasn't for TikTok, I wouldn't know that.
A lot of people want to say, is it true or not? I'm going to be honest with you. Yeah, it is. And I'd be like, yeah, right. Where's your proof? The government, I'm telling you, there's about 6 or 7 people who passed the ice walls. And people talk about, what is the ice wall? When you have an ice wall map, the continent, they have Antarctica, Arctic Circle, and all. You have ice that covers it. Like you're going around, like, oh, I'm over here. You're in the Indian Oceans. You're in South and Chile. You have Antarctica, Arctic Circle, Russia. Like everyone's trying to get out. A lot of people don't know this, that there were six to maybe 7 people who passed the continent. I'll give you this. You cannot find the old maps to the continents and all, because a lot of these old maps, they had other civilizations. There were some old maps that they found. There's like, what the fuck is that? It's an island, and it's called the city of Atlantis in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean.
Yeah.
That's trippy. And a lot of people don't know there was there was another continent right next to Madagascar, another island. Like it was like a whatever, because when all the worlds were together as one, they all kind of like separated.
Is that with the Pangea stuff?
Yeah, all that weird stuff. And this is where all the ice walls coming in, because these people they found these maps to get out. And this is when the government didn't take control of everything. So there was always these legends, urban legends of people passing the ice wall, going to different continents. And there was all these rumors and all these stories were back in the 17 to the 1900s. That was it. So pretty much in a way, if you want to talk about the ice wall, let's talk about William Morris and Barlington. They had the United States Continental back after the wars with the Britain. They had the ships. Heard stories, and they had this person had a map, and they went voyage all the way into Mexico. Then they stopped in Chile to refuel or to gather fruits, stuff, whatever, to the voyage. And what they did is they went to Antarctica, but they had to go at a certain time and a certain date. A lot of people don't know this about the ice wall. It's called the Summer of Gates. So every summer, when the sun hits the ice, it gets hot. There's ice walls all around. There's only 4 to maybe 5 locations all over the world. You gotta find it. That the sun hits the 200 to 400 feet ice walls, where if the sun is so high, it kind of melts the ice walls, and they form gaps, and you can come in and out. There's always been weird stuff, advanced civilization, aliens coming in, sea creatures, people coming in and out. So with William Morris and the crew, they found the Summer of Gates, and the current was taking them, like, oh my gosh, we're gonna hit an ice wall. Like, no, the current was taking you, and they found a gap where they got out, and the ship went past the ice wall, and they went to another civilization, another continent, and they settled for a couple years at the Ancestral Republic.
We're talking about earlier about Area 51.
Yeah, so to me, Area 51 is all coming out. A lot of people don't know this. Like Nevada is the military owns about 70% of that state. So if you know something, you see Las Vegas and Henderson, you over here on top Lake Tahoe and Reno and all that. The middle of Nevada and stuff, it's all owned by the military. So there's a lot of areas and stuff. People all focus on Area 51, the UFO. People talk about Bob Lazar and stuff. A lot of that is going on. Oh yeah, but a lot of whistleblowers and who worked at Area 51 are coming out. The aliens or certain species. There's about 10,000 different types of species. Could be humans from another world or this. They're not at Area 51. They're at Area 54. So there's a lot of stuff. And also I want to say this. They're living among us. There's a lot of stories we can get into. A lot of people are not even talking about the Denver airport.
What happened there?
It's owned by the military. That's where rumors are saying about the Illuminati. To go down thousands to maybe 2,000 feet. There's a lot of underground military bases that stretches. They have fast trains that takes you 2 to maybe 4 or 5,000 miles. You could be here from Denver Airport, and they have certain trains that could take you to China.
Oh, like underground trains?
Oh, yeah. There's, I don't know if you know this, but the military have these underground bases where they are working with the Illuminakis. Like, the Illuminakis. If you don't know who they are, look them up. They're working with the giants. They're working with the Watchers. They're working with the fallen angels. They're working. It's all staged. Yeah, the governments are working with underground certain people, and no one really talks about the Illuminakis. Like Illuminakis came, and they started conquering and taking all the resources to save their planet. But a lot of people are not noticing that there's a lot of bases of the Illuminakis that had over here, and a lot of people don't know this. When Syria was going to war, the Russians were helping. They had some Russian special forces called Spetsnaz, where they went underground and they found the Illuminakis, and the Illuminakis killed them all. Like their technology in this, and they're humongous, like big, and they're just there waiting for the time is right. And all the stuff that you're seeing about the Euphrates rivers and this, it's all coming out. It's all. Like a lot of people, we'll deep dive on a lot of shit, but they said there was 4 fallen angels that were imprisoned by the Euphrates rivers under those caves. They're released. That's where they're causing havoc. So at the same time those fallen angels were released, all destruction came in with Russia, with China, and this. We're gonna see a lot of people dying, but you're gonna see some weird stuff coming out, and some new technology stuff, where it's like all you see is Wi-Fi and this and all. This is all from the Illuminakis. This is all from City of Atlanta. This is all from India.
That you think that a lot of people don't know, but you know.
I know, but the thing is, there's some that are far-fetched. It's like, I don't know about that. But there's some where it makes you think and wonder. There is a lady. I mean, I don't want to get you in trouble, but there is a lady who showed me some proof. Like the government knew about this, and was it in 2004 about the vaccinations that were gonna fucking hit us in 2020?
In 2004?
Yeah. It was a lady who was talking about it. It was a TV show, it was a conspiracy show where the wrestler Jesse the Body Ventura, he was the governor of Minnesota, but when he was done, yeah, so he did a show. The lady talked about it. It's like, yeah, there's even a crazy ass game. Like, look it up, guys. A crazy ass game called the Illuminatis.
I remember too that they have the
cards.
Like, yeah,
bro, those cards will fuck your head up because it predicted.
Like 1995, I think.
Yeah, and everything was like predicted. Black Lives Matter.
I didn't saw that one. They had that one there?
Yeah, the Pentagon.
I remember. I saw that
crashing the World Trades and this, the oil companies, the disasters that happened in Nigeria and Africa. COVID. Bro, I was like, I was sleeping like, no, let me look this up. Let me look, because I saw the cards. I was like, who predicted this?
How deep you got into that?
Deep dive, dog. For like almost a month. And we did an episode, me and King Mexico. We're just shocked.
Throw a prediction right now. What do you think But now that we're doing this, the prediction for the future, like what do you think they have planned for us that they told us before and it's gonna happen?
Um, they say there's a meteor coming that we're all gonna die in 2020, 2053. But at the same time, a lot of people don't know this that are a lot of those empire countries like the United States and Russia and China and all, they're gonna be like dissolved. Like those empires are done because the thing is, times are changing, economics are changing. Um, it's all about money. It's all about this, and the our people. It's gonna get worse. We're going to war. And there's no going around it. All you woke people, all this, I don't want war, and nah, motherfucker, we're going to war. Like, we're going to war with China. Take it or leave it. Like, we've been, and I'm gonna be honest with you. Like, I'll get a lot of shit for this, but us United States, we've been bullying a lot of other like third world countries to the point there's gonna come a time where we get our asses kicked.
Wait, well, I don't know. You saw what happened with Mexico and the cartel and all that. What do you think of that?
Dude.
Yeah, that's another thing. That's what I'm
Okay, man, I'm
saying.
gonna tell you something, man. It's a very sensitive, it's a very sensitive subject, and it goes more deeper to those four people from South Carolina who went to Brownsville to go to get certain sections, and they say, "Hey, I'm sorry," you know. United States wants war, and a lot of people don't know this, and you're gonna get first exclusives on what's going on. And if you guys don't believe me, I'll just say this: do your own research. Um, don't be surprised if you see China invade the United States like the movie Red Dawn. What's going on is when you have a lot of influence from China to go start spreading their gospel to Canada, weaken the United States, building relationships with Mexico, building relationships with Central America, building your relationships with South America, giving all the money and the influence, and at the same time, the Chinese militaries are working with certain cartels, where the CIA is working with other cartels to take each other down. So I'll give you something. Remember when we went to war of Afghanistan? Not how it was, at the time we went to war with Iraq. We're talking about with the Cold War with the United States and the Russians were doing a Cold War in Afghanistan. That's how it's going to be like. So there's going to be some crazy shit that's going to go down. But if you don't build those relationships with Mexico, we're fucked because they want war. There's a lot of secret wars. Um, there's this podcast, Manifesto. Ed Calderon, he was on Joe Rogan, talks about it. He used to work with the military police. And a lot of this stuff is coming out. So it's like, you got to be careful because, it's not safe. Those times where it's getting to the point you're having Chinese military bases next door to fucking United States. This is a lot of people don't knowing. What would happen if China had a lot of influence in Mexico and they're building their military bases and they're sending nuclear weapons to bomb us? When was the last time you had a scare like that? That was like back in the 60s with Cuba. This is the big whole deal. We're going to war.
They're getting more serious and serious as we
Dude,
go.
this is going to be crazy. Like, it's just, we're getting surrounded. Like, who is our allies? We're all focused on giving money to Ukraine and this, whatever, to help out Russia. We get that. But we don't have money to go to war. Last time America went to war in two fronts was in World War II with, with Germany and with Japan. Now, it's going to be like that now where we might go to war with Russia and they're almost at the point like, Russia don't have no men to fight. And the last option, nuclear war. And at the same time, you have China and we have to go protect Taiwan. A lot of people don't know this about Taiwan. We get our chips on our iPhone. There's certain things that China's taking over of the resources, what's going on in Africa. But yeah, we have to, because if China takes over Taiwan, like they take over all they take all our resources from whatever we need for our phones, our cars, like electrics and all that. It's all they need it. And it's pretty crazy where China right now is being the bullies. Like they're trying to take over, but at the same time, I see China more like this. China has a lot of certain policies. They have their agenda. They have their propaganda and stuff. But at the same time, they're flossing. They don't have no money because a lot of the corporations in China they're leaving to India. A lot of people don't know this about India. India wants war with China. It's a whole corporation thing. So a lot of the corporations in the United States that were saving money, they're moving to India because it's like it's not safe there no more. And at the same time, 30 to 40% of the economic in China is done. And also they're having a decrease of a population because there's a lot there's a lot of there's a lot of men, but there's not that much women. So it's like 30 men for one lady.
Mm.
So the population's decreasing to the point we don't have any women to marry and have kids to keep it going. So that whole male system, it fucked everything up. Even what's going on in Russia. Russia has a population decreased population because they don't have no men. So where in China they don't have no women, Russia they don't have no men. So Russia right now in war with Ukraine, they don't have no men to fight. They're taking prisoners. They're buying mercenaries to fight their wars and all that. Because over there, a lot of people don't know. Why is that's kind of weird? Why is it that Russia don't even have no men? World War I, when they all started, communists, World War II, Stalin, the Gulag, and all, close to 400, maybe 500 million people died. There was no men. So now, when you have a decrease of a population in Russia, it's almost like in a way you have 20 girls to one guy.
Damn.
So it's crazy right now where you're gonna see a lot of economic collapse, and they were saying by 2070, the Russian people will be the it won't be the same no more. It'll be extinct.
But yeah, tell me more about the Area 51.
Area 51 is a conspiracies person's dream. There's a lot of stories that go around, like when it comes to Bob Lazar, it comes to UFOs, sightings, it comes to military, like planes, this, like certain things. And it's like, for example, when you watch that movie Independence Day, like, with Will Smith, they have to show you to do their sacrifice. So to me, always be watching certain movies or certain things. They have to show you, like example though, like Simpsons. They have to show you to, and it's gonna come true. So with Area 51, a lot of people don't know. There's a lot of crazy stuff. To me, I see it more like I'm not worried about Area 51. It's the other bases that are around it, other areas that they have their secret locations where they have their nuclear stuff, they have their biochemical stuff, certain species, certain hybrids,
So they got like a whole different laboratories and all that.
top secret stuff. But there was a guy I told you. I don't know if I told you the story, but there's a YouTuber. He disappeared. Well, this guy his name is Kenny Veach. Kenny Veach was he lived in I think in Las Vegas, but he goes to the deserts and explores, for hours. Well, he went to a certain area which was behind Area 51, and there was an Air Force base and all, and he found this cave called the M Cave, and he was talking about, I saw this weird energy and this or whatever. And I remember if you hear the episode with Bob Lazar, he talks about certain back entrances to back caves over there behind Area 51. And he talked about it, and a lot of people were saying, I don't believe you, go back. Like, I felt this energy, this orbs. It was weird. He goes back, and he's like, I'm going to prove you guys, I'll find it. Well, in the comments, someone put, I think he was a whistleblower or something, like, hey, if you go back, you can't come out. And he disappeared. They found some clothes, they found a cell phone, and they couldn't find him. And the weird thing about it is, and a couple days later, I think it was like I don't want to say a couple days, but like a year, some person found where he disappeared, and someone put a brand new fucking rock to cover that cave. It was trippy, and that was the back entrance to Area 51. They left the back door open, and a lot of people don't know this. Look it up. There is a military map that has underground bases and stuff around the United States. Did you know 5 to 10 million people are missing in the United States? And those governments kidnap those people to do experiments on them. They kidnap them for certain things. It's crazy. I mean, you don't even want to you don't want to get me started on Disneyland. I mean, Disneyland is some crazy shit. Like it's that child trafficking. It's real.
With the Mike, what was his name? The Epstein thing.
Epstein's Island. I'm telling you, you follow the money, and it's gonna lead you to a lot of weird shit, man. I'm telling you, it's crazy.
There's a whole list already out there.
Yo, it's a lot of lists out there. There's a lot of rumors about child trafficking. I'm telling you, it's a corporation. It's not like when you see like news, oh, we arrested 30 people for this human trafficking. You have this, whatever. It's a corporation. That's why in a way they're bringing more people to the United States. Like here, like kids. There was a lot of our kids who were in detention centers. They disappeared. Where'd they go? Mm-hmm. It makes you think and wonder, okay, their parents are dead. They came to America. They died, coming all the way to the United States. The kids are alone. They're like 3 years old, 10, 13, whatever, like young. And they all disappeared. They went somewhere.
What do you think of cloning?
It's going to happen. It's going to happen. I feel like it's that technology where it's like, I want to put a chip in my brain. We're living in the last days. I want to put a chip in my brain and be like how the movie Matrix is. Like,
I think I saw Elon Musk try to do something like that.
He's trying to do something. I don't fuck with that.
I got shut down for trying to do that.
I wouldn't do all that stuff. I wouldn't focus on that. And I'm gonna say something as well. A lot of people need to know what's really going on with our homeless. You know what's going on?
No.
Want to hear some real conspiracy shit?
Yeah.
You ever watch that movie Purge?
Yeah.
We're living in certain areas where the rich elite are doing some purge to kill the homeless.
Dang.
They're using them to try to see, well, how we're going to resolve our homelessness. So what they're doing is they're kidnapping all the homeless and they're using them as survival games.
That's crazy.
That's some real shit right there. And a lot of homeless people are getting missed. They're missing. I'm seeing it like, it's kind of weird. Like, I remember this person, and I saw an episode of Tony A. It had Marvelous on, talked about it, and I was like, let me do some research. And I can't mention their names, but I told them, like, yeah, this person got kidnapped, this person. I was like, this all coming out, man. I was like, dude, sometimes I get freaked out talking about certain things like this, but you don't know there's some crazy fucked up people out here, dude.
Yeah.
It's like, there's some weird, like, stuff, but yeah.
What's been like the craziest thing that has happened to you? Like, well, not to you, but like, have you had like a crazy fan stalking you or stuff like that?
A fan stalking? Not really. They always talks about, it's like that. People talk about fake beefs and all that stuff. I mean, I get it.
You got any fake beef?
No, there's no fake beef, man. I keep it 100. It's them that they think like, oh, hey. But it's these people where at the time I did the podcast or I get to know, and I could tell their energy was off. And I was like, I can't fuck with these people. So I only know them because maybe I saw them maybe 2 times or 1 time. But those are years ago. But like, who gives a fuck? There's even a podcast that made a fake page about me. Oh, I want to say this. For those type of people, it's a whack ass page. For you to make the time and effort to be on my motherfucking jock, licking my balls and sucking my dick, and you're having these fake accounts and say like, oh yeah, he's doing this and all that, you're on my nuts. I won because I'm not worried about you. You're worried about me. So it's this funny word when people say, man, you got haters, MegaMan. You fucking made it. Yeah, I fucking made it. You gotta have haters. If you don't have a hater, you didn't fucking make it.
You ain't doing nothing.
Yeah, no, but it's funny. It's like they joke around, they talk shit, but they won't say it to my face, But you might have a person that might put you in a spot with a question and all. But if you have an answer, like, what am I to worry about? Like, oh yeah, I heard MegaMan's this. Yeah, so what? Who gives a fuck, dude? So what? It's like, so what if I like to get my dick sucked and have my balls rubbed? Who gives a fuck, dude? Like, so what if I smoke out, or what if I do this, or oh, I heard he's unfiltered, or I heard he had fallouts. Dude, I have fallouts with certain people because I don't like their energy. Like, there's some people with like, you just can't have them around.
And
I mean, you can't even trust people these days. You
uh,
just can't.
you see planning on being in Joe Rogan?
That's the day, man. I'm telling you, it's hard. It's really hard. My dream was always to be a guest on Joe Rogan's podcast, but this is the thing. Like, you really have to get out there. Like, and I'm always thinking to myself, if I come on, I go on. I know certain people that he knows that I know them personally. I'm not
Right.
going to mention, I'm not going to give him clout or this, but that's private to me. But if he wants me on, it's cool. I like to have a good conversation. He's very intellectual. I like how he is, and I think for us podcasters, he paved the way to.
You're to ask him like a question. What would it be?
To be honest, I wouldn't ask him a question. I would just tell him I just want to say thank you for
Leading the
you
way.
leading the way and having a platform. Because of your platform, like right now, you and I, we wouldn't be doing a conversation. But the thing is also, you want to give praise when praise is due, but I would just say thank you to him. I'll even say thank you to Adam Curry. Adam Curry, a lot of people don't know this about Adam Curry. Adam Curry is the godfather of podcasts. People always think it's Joe Rogan. No, it's Adam Curry. He's a VJ of MTV. He's the one who paved the way. He's the one who gave the idea to Steve Jobs from Apple to start a podcast. What do you think of the way we look at our iPhone? Adam Curry made that. If he didn't make a podcast,
So he made the logo for
he
the
made the
podcast.
logo. He gave the idea. It was in San Diego. He talked for an hour. This is what my podcast, and this is where I have an idea. I want to make my first iPhone, and the first thing I'm gonna put podcast.
Dang. And that's what it took. Cause when I had an iPhone, the app was already there, but I never knew what it was. Like
No one did. A
yeah.
lot of this, like, ooh, these are good. It's like audio and this, and that's how I was listening to a lot of good podcasts because at the time when I was working at a grocery store, I was working overnight, so I was getting tired of hearing music. So I want to hear podcasts. That's when I started learning about a lot of podcasts, a lot of uh, information, which I never learned because we never taught that in school. So I get a lot of my facts, my information from podcasts. So right now, we are the trendsetters in the West Coast. Where if we're doing a podcast right now in the Harbor area, there's a lot of people, Little Faded, that are watching everything that we do. We talk, we post, and everything, and it gets spread out to different states and it gets spread out to different continents over the world.
Have you done a podcast on the East Coast?
I did podcasts everywhere. I did podcasts in the UK, South Africa, Argentina. I even have people who are in the front lines right now in the Ukraine Russian war that listen to my podcast
Dang, that's
and that
dope.
keep them going. And I don't want to say his name because of what's going on, but I lost one of my good friends. I'm not gonna put it out, but for secret reasons. But he got killed 2 weeks ago. But he was a podcast fan, and he got killed by the Russians. So to me, it hurts my heart because you're trying to save people's lives, and so you never know these podcasters, they're making it day by day, listening. So shout outs to him. You know who you are. You fought well, and for our freedom. That's why I see it as. But I do podcasts in continents, different countries, different locations. But it's all about knowing each other and just see what's out there and just have fun and live life and just have your message just be heard over the world. Because the thing is, Little Faded, you don't know who's gonna be hearing us or watching us.
Yeah, and you never know if that's gonna be our chance or whatever. You're not gonna turn our lives around.
Yeah, and that's the thing about with my podcast, it turned my life around. Maturity. Now I'm in a better state. I'm gun ho in the podcast, getting certain things out there. Trying. I don't know if I told you, I'm trying to get a network now.
Mm.
Uh, with certain
Like your own channel?
my own channel.
That'd be dope, man.
I'm trying to get that. That's where you got to get out there, and you got to find the right people that you click with. So I have ideas. I'm doing some stuff.
What about your own app?
That's a good thing.
You
You
can
know,
stream your podcast.
I'm gonna see what's up with that. I'll tell you off air, but there's a special person that I'm gonna bring on that he has an apps, but it's all about Asa,
Mm.
and I'll tell you off air. But I'm in talks of see that maybe I could try to have my channel on his, you know. But the thing is, it's it's gonna rattle a lot of feathers. But at the same time, I'm gonna just speak my mind and all that. But that's the thing, you know. Like every podcast is different. We're living in a day where everyone wants to be a podcaster. Okay, you're starting, but there's a lot of podcasters quitting. It's oversaturated. People are crying. I don't get the numbers, you know, and they're pulling this cry, like feeling sorry that my numbers suck and this, whatever, help me, save me. Like, dude, just get out. Like, you're being a little bitch, you know, like survival of the fittest, you know, like, and that's why in a way you're seeing podcasters they're just not, they don't want to do it. And at the same time, a lot of these podcasters, they're just not up to par, which means they're still in the immature stage where they're not professional. And this is the thing I hate about podcasters. When they want to bring you on and they tell you, okay, so what do you want to talk about? I'm like, you know, you just fucked yourself.
So what you want to talk about?
So that's the thing. That's the thing, because the reason why I say that for,
No, I feel you. Like I feel
you're a host. If you've been doing this so long, you should know how you want this podcast to be orchestrated. So if you already follow a person and you see who they are and they post and all that, you could talk about certain things and stuff. But
you kind of get a vibe and what they're into, like
yeah,
anything that could be
yeah, yeah.
interesting.
And if a podcaster says that, it's like, bro, you've been doing podcasts for years and you're telling me this. That's why, in a way, if a podcaster, if I bring it, let's say it's like this, I invite you on, and you tell me, hey, Megan, what are we gonna talk about? I would have told you, homie, I already have my list already.
And you come prepared. You have like your notebook. You do your studies.
Yeah, you got to come prepared and stuff, because the thing is, like, man, why you come prepared? I do not want no fucking dead air. Now that's straight up. Like, I don't want no dead air. Like, it's just, you got to make a good fucking episode. And this is the thing, podcasters, word of advice, have 2 notepads. It's like, what do you mean? You have your numbers and who you're going to have on. That's cool. Have another notepad. Work on your weak points, your strong points. Hear your episodes about 5 or 6 times on audio. See your episode on visual 6 or 7 times. Write the stuff that you're doing wrong. And that's what I do. I always want to better myself. May not be the greatest podcast. I don't give a fuck, but I'm learning. Where there's other podcasters, you're putting out 2 episodes and you're partying this. People always tell me, you don't go out. I says, I'd rather stay home because I want to be the best podcaster in my eyes. But at the same time, I want to outprove all the naysayers, haters, trolls, and you never do it. I'm going to rub it in their face and be like, yo, like, I don't want to talk shit because he'll prove me wrong. So that's why I stay home and I write my stuff. Who am I going to bring on? If I have a guest that backs out, I have a plan B and C. I'm doing all this. And dude, I only have an Instagram. And my YouTube page, it's my personal page. I only have like 50 followers, whatever. But imagine if I had my YouTube, it's game over.
Pretty much, because YouTube is a big platform besides Instagram.
Yeah, but the whole thing will be with the demonetize and this, and you know, they're trying to be their YouTube's with their leeways, with their policies. I ain't fucking buying that, you know. That's why a lot of the videos are I wanted to push it on Rumble, but I gotta watch their policies as well. If you're saying on the NFL commercial, and you the best NFL Super Bowl commercial is when Rumble did a commercial talking shit about YouTube. A lot of people, but now I really have to understand the Rumble's policy if I want to have my podcast videos up there, because this is the thing. If we're doing this episode right now and you're going to process it, YouTube, Spotify, any other social media platforms that you post videos, they have a certain program that is going to monitor certain words or certain things that you talked about in the episode, and they're gonna edit it for you.
Oh damn!
You better yeah, and that's the thing. It's like
I haven't got to that point yet, but
you're gonna get to that point. To me, right now, like I just been just chilling, dog. Just chilling, just living life, going to the harbor area. Probably after this show, I'll probably go catch a beer. Probably go meet some people at the homie rapper Kiki Smooth. Yeah, he's from the first Mexican rapper from Compton. Shout outs to him. He always has something. I said to him, I'm gonna surprise him. I'm like, yo, I'm over here like, oh shit, what's up, dude?
Yeah.
That's how I am. I like to go and just surprise people. Like, yo, you got to show your face and you want to show love to the people because those people, they fuck with you and they're gonna support you. I gotta fuck with them too. And this is the thing. I'm a ride and die. But last year, and I will say this one last time, I had to part ways with certain people, but it was for the best. But knowing what I know now, I had to, but it's all about maturity. It's about growing up. I'm 42. I don't give a fuck. I just want to do my thing and live my life and just have fun and just do a podcast with you or just do whatever I can. But just having this sit down conversation with you is kind of like cool because this is my first podcast doing a sit down. Like you're my first podcast where like having a sit down for this year, and I just want to say
thank you for
thank you
pulling up, man.
thank you, man, for having me on, and I just want to say this, man, like the Harbor area, man, I love Wilmington, I love Weedmas, you know, I'm right there on Blinn and Ruby Dock Street, right next to L Street and Ghost Town, and you know, there's a lot of good podcasters coming out. You know, you got Straight Faded Podcast, you know, you got Hello San Pedro, you got Let Me Know Pod. The Long Beach Social Experiment. There's another podcast, Movies on Weeds podcast. Shout outs to them. I forgot to give you a shout out because I was on We Don't Smoke the Same with Ease on and B-Roll TV. I'm telling you, I talk that shit. And, you know, there's a whole bunch of podcasts but in Long Beach. But we're all getting out there. You know, we might have our say here, whatever, but as long as you're entertaining, as long as you're having fun, as long as you're pushing the message, but you're being informative, that's it. Just be there for your people. Show love to the Harbor area. Show love to San Pedro. To me, I have to show love over the world because I don't want to be in that pond where it's all cliquey, tribals, and all that. I don't like what this is at. I'm gonna be that duck. I'm gonna get out of the pond. I want to see what's out there, and that's what I did. And that's where I'm a chameleon, where I can adapt to any type of podcast, any discussions here, whatever. And this is where learning history comes into play. When I was telling you, with my family, used to make fun of me because they thought I wasn't smart or intellectual. Now I can have these sit downs with certain people and talk about some really important matters to the point other podcasters are too scared to talk about it because they're scared to get silenced and they're scared to get canceled.
I've seen you in other bigger podcasts too, like Tony A. How's that? Like,
Yeah,
you stay in touch with him?
man, the last time I seen Tony A was at Live and Dial of LA, but he was doing a podcast. I kind of was just doing my thing. But honestly, the last time I really seen him was at the Cali Mac event with the American Cholo.
That was the peace thing?
Yeah, the peace thing. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
that's the last time. And you know, Tony's doing his thing. I kind of doing my thing. You know, like, you know, a lot of people don't know. Like, Tony A was my first guest on my show back when it was called the MegaMan's podcast. But right now, like,
He was your first guest?
he was my first guest, my first celebrity guest.
That's legendary then.
Yeah, that a lot of people don't know. It was Tony A. They had MC Pancho. Shouts to him. The Hood Footy, the comedian Tanya Estrada, Hood Santa, Tito Rodriguez. You know, from Local Hearts. I mean, I had Beard Thug Life. I mean, I had a lot of good people. But with Tony, he's doing his thing. We're cool, but we're good. I'm doing my thing and stuff like that. You know, he's doing this, so there's certain things that I don't agree with his show or and all, but it's the things where sometimes in a way, if you're a podcaster or you know, you really want to sit back and what are you getting from these certain channels?
What
But
do you mean?
you got to see what they're promoting and stuff.
Oh, okay.
And the thing is, like, you know, Tony's Rodium, they're gonna have their thing, you know. But I think when it comes to really like having with like big beefs or something where, let's say for example, let's say for my podcast, I bring someone on, and this is the thing I hate. I hate to like, if I have a fallout with someone, I don't want to talk shit or this whatever, but I'd like to explain why. And the thing is, like, if you're gonna have a podcast, don't put a lot of people on blast and you're burning bridges and all this crap. And there's always going to be people that you support, and there's always going to have those people in your ears like, oh, she's this or he's that, whatever. But that's the thing, like, knowing what I know now, like, I just want to be neutral.
So, what do you take from all these podcasters? What do you take from them? Like the good part.
The good part, everyone's hungry, everyone's passionate. There's certain people with egos. There's certain people that are very stubborn and prideful. There's certain podcasters who are very hypocritical, two-faced and all that. And that's the thing where it's like you have to part ways. Like, you can listen for entertain, but when it comes to educational reason, I wouldn't listen to some of these podcasts. I think the most educational one I would probably listen to is, I like Incredible Javier. I like where he's at. He's from El Monte. Gil from American Cholo. Hello, San Pedro. It's King Mexico. I did that one. Brown's podcast he does every Thursday from 8 p.m. He brings all our people together and he talks about a certain topic. I like those. I like see what we can resolve some differences, but I'm just looking for the educational standpoint. But if it comes to cheesemate and drama, I don't like this. I will have to mention this podcast. And it's really sad. You and I were doing podcasts and we're trying to be very professional.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of podcasters that do it for clout, for drama and all that. There is a video that was out behind the scenes. I don't know what guest Hoodstock's podcast, what guest, but I guess after the podcast, this person, he was a guest, I guess another one had beef, and they started fist fighting on, I don't know, it was before or after the show and all that. You don't do that. And that's the thing where if you're going to have drama, why are you promoting that on your podcast show? Like, just fist fights and this and drama. Like, that's the thing where you have to be careful, because there's people out there, they want the drama. They want the cheese. It gives you a lot of numbers. You don't want that, because it's going to ruin your image, ruin your reputation. And that's where it's like, nah, man. But those are the things. Like, the Hoodstocks podcast is a Hoodstocks podcast and all. There's some episodes I do like, but there's some, it's drama. And I saw the videos of the whole situation with Hoodstocks and Marvelous Inc. I saw those two videos and he took it down and all this crap, and I'm like, this is too much. This is not for me. So that's why, in a way, if you're a podcaster, you want to follow. There's 10 million different types of podcasts. You're gonna find your niche, and I already found my niche. There's like JR and the Crew, but I like American Cholo. He's not talking about it, being about it, but it's very educational. And there's sometimes I will DM certain things with Gil. It's like, hey, I'm going through a situation. Her, how do you do with this? How do you do with that? And he'll respond. A lot of podcasters, we need to help each other out, but there's some that think like they know it all. And those people whose podcasters say that they know it all, Little Faded, they're not doing podcasts no more.
They suck.
They suck. They quit, whatever. And that's why, in a way, I only reach out to the ones who I already have relationships with. But the other podcasters, it's not the same. But it's all growing up. Like, you're gonna part ways, come and go. Would you leave the door open? Maybe, maybe not. It just depends. But if you already know those types of people and they're gonna burn you, why bring them back in your life and give them a second chance?
To get burned again.
Correct.
Damn.
It's deep, man.
Yeah.
This podcast game is so cliquey, so tribal. And if I bring a guest on, another podcaster, you know who you guys and ladies are. You're gonna get all butthurt. You're gonna get let's go blackball MegaMan and this, and they look you in these Fuji ugly looks, like sour looks. Like, there's people out there who are so haters, dude. Like sour, dude. Like, what the fuck,
Like
man?
a sour patch.
No, I mean, like that, like a sour patch. I mean, like, dude, why are you so? I was like, why are you so aggressive? When they get mad, like, there's people out there, they're so passionate, and they think like they're so alpha. Like, I'm gonna punk this podcast and this. And I look at them like, you want a hug?
Have you ever had that? Somebody try to
Yo,
check you on your podcast?
I had a podcast. I'm not gonna mention who. This podcaster was like an alpha bully and this, whatever. He was talking shit, whatever. So I met him. He was talking shit. You know what I did to him? And he started crying.
Dude,
You know what I did to him? Hey, man, how's your mental health?
that's it.
A lot of people right now are going through a lot of mental health.
How you dealing with that? I know we had talked about it. I think my episode or your episode.
It I
Like,
it's a day to day. You know, I put a recent episode a week ago called mental awareness. The topic is grief.
and that's another. For those that don't know, like you're one of the person that got me into getting more into the mental health,
Yeah,
like taking care of
this
it.
is a good topic.
Yeah, like taking care of it and then like sharing it, helping others. That's a lot of people, like you said, a lot of people are struggling with it.
Well, the thing is, like, if you think about it, like, our mom and dad, I don't know how your mom and dad were, but with my family, they were hard workers, so they were never around to show me how to do this and now that. And those are the times where I was born in the 80s, so I was going through a lot of shit, like mental health, which means getting bullied, antisocial, I'm stuttering in this, whatever. But now you're seeing it a lot now where the people who I thought they were perfect are battling through mental awareness, loss of loved ones, grief, divorce, cheating, like lost their job, something happened, like a dramatic situation happened with their family. I mean, you got to be there. And that's the thing about grief. There's a lot of people reached out to me, yo, MegaMan, like, when are you going to do another mental awareness episode? I'm going to be honest with you. Like, when this lockdowns happen, when people die from COVID, and let's just say it is, I lost over close to 45, 44 people in 3 fucking years. Good fucking people. And I'm not going to mention their name. A lot of people are like, mention their names. Why am I going to do that for? If I already talk to the families and stuff like that and tell them, don't mention my name, but these people made a difference in my heart. It made a difference in my podcast. It made a difference, in my train of thought. And it just sucks, but a lot of people, they're just not there in the head. And I feel like now we're in this major recession for 2023, and it's going to get worse. There's going to be a lot of people, I'm sorry to say this, divorce, committing suicide, and they're going to be on some drinking, smoking. I want to be honest, they're going to be on fentanyl.
Sheesh.
Some deep ass shit, man.
Yeah.
But I do whatever I can with any episodes. Depression, grief. I mean, I'm gonna talk about the next mental awareness. I'm gonna talk about suicidal, and I think in a way a lot of people don't want to address it, but I will. There was a time I wanted to commit suicide when my son had a stroke. I
No.
thought that was the end of the world.
And that was recently too, right?
That was last year, and I was in the hospital with them, and I'm gonna tell you, it just, I hit rock bottom. You know, having your son, um, like, helpless, and for me getting let go of my job because I was calling out a lot because I love my son, and family comes first. And that's when I realized, like, I need to be there for my kids. I'll do less podcasts and just kind of have my mind on check because I do not want to have my mind in a dark cloud where drinking comes into play, suicide thoughts come into play, dark depression comes into play, and there might be a time where it's like, I want to kill myself. I don't want to be here no more. I hate this life. I hate this matrix. But sometimes, in a way, if I do that, then I'm leaving my kids behind. Be like, oh, you're a pussy. You couldn't even be a father, but you took an easy way out. So to me, knowing what I know, I had to relearn how to be a father again. How I want my podcast to be. Renewing my relationships with the people I had fallouts with. Only those certain people where we still have that bond. And the relationships is with my mother. Renewing my relationship with my mother, but also renewing my relationship with my father. Um, it's very hard, but sometimes, that mother, that relative, or my father, or any certain people, they're gonna swallow their pride and say, you know what? I admit I was a fuck up. I should have been a better father, should have been a better mother, I should have been a better friend and all, but they realize I'll give those people second chances. But the other ones who keep on making mistakes, I can't have them in my life. Like, you're not people I want to fuck with or trust with. But with that, I just been building a lot of relationships, and it's all gonna come out. You know, like my mom tells me, I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you. You're doing this, and my mom didn't get the podcast at first. Like, why are you doing it for? It's a waste of time. But seeing me doing the podcast, my mom seeing me do the podcast, and I'm getting out there. My mom's happy. Like, man, now I get it. I'd rather you do podcast, MegaMan, instead of you getting out there and getting to mischief, getting killed, getting in trouble, this, whatever. My mom has said, it took you a lot of years, but you found your niche. You should have been doing podcasts when you were young, but hey, you had to find your way. This is what I'm good at. I love doing podcasts. I love sitting down with you, Little Fader, or sitting down with a lot of people, but I love this because this is the only time for me to really get to understand who you are as a person.
Yeah.
Straight up.
But that's like communication and sitting down with somebody, you know.
It's always, and I just want to apologize to you as well. I was supposed to call you a certain week, but I was so busy, but I called you the night before. It's like, I'm going to be over here and this, whatever. It's always about communication, man. So if you need anything, I got your back. I got, you got my support and all that. And the thing is like, we're all family. Harbor area, no matter what city you came from, rivals and all that, we're all family. We're all Harbor area. No one can fuck with the Harbor area, straight up. Like, we're hungry motherfuckers. Like, we're survivors. Like, we're gonna get out there and go get that shit.
Especially when, like, even just for podcasts, like, when it comes to podcasts, I'm pretty sure me and you are gonna go to the fullest. Like, we're not even, we're barely getting started type of shit, Like, I know you've been doing it for a while, but I feel like every single time you do it, it's like brand new again, brand new.
Get aggressive, keep on getting those minutes, those hours. When people say like an average podcaster needs to do about 10,000 hours, nah, man, I'm just gonna take whatever, do whatever guest appearances or this, whatever. You got to get that experience and knowledge to think like, okay, if I do this again, this is where I want it to be. Boom, boom, boom. I'll change this up, and I just love doing it. It's just, to me, it's fun driving, getting to do a podcast and doing another podcast tonight and doing a podcast on Monday and Tuesday. I just love doing it.
Then the experience took, for me, like when I interview, like for you, I learn from you. So when you're talking, I'm learning from you.
And if there's any advice, look at, I don't have YouTube. You have visuals and all that stuff. I'm audio. To me, I feel like if I do visual, it kind of takes it away. I want the audio. I want them
to listen.
Yes. You're commuting. And I'm gonna be honest. I get a lot of good numbers. You know why? From all the fucking longshoremen people, right there in the harbor in San Pedro, Wilmington, and I get the longshoremen people hear my podcast, and so to me, it's like I get some numbers when let's say for example, I post an episode up on a Saturday night or a Saturday 7 p.m. I already have over 200 listens in maybe in 2 or 3 hours. You know why? It's the longshoremen people. They always been showing me love from all the harbor area. A lot of people work at longshoremen. Like I won't mention who, but there's some celebrities who are trying to get their name out there. They're singers or podcasters, artists, but they all work right here.
Yeah, there's everything.
They're everything and all right here. I didn't even know. I was like, is that Spider from fucking Blood and Blood Out? Chico Tomate! Like, he's over here, works over here. I was like, oh shit, I see MC Pancho, dude. He is like San Pedro.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't know he's one of the pioneers of Chicano rap.
Yeah.
He started
I gotta get him on my show.
You gotta get him on the show. And his father, I mean, we talked about it. I'll say it again. His father, MC Pancho's father, is one of the pioneers who had the San Pedro and Wilmington, the rival gangs, be at peace.
Ooh.
That's some deep ass stuff.
Yeah.
And San Pedro's, he's always showing love, and he goes to Wilmington here. That's how he is. But even though he would say, like, if MC Pancho would say, I'm from San Pedro, and there was times like, fuck, man, it's pretty active over here in Wilmington. I don't want to get in trouble, but those times are done. If you survived the 80s and the 90s, and now looking where it's at now, we're all coming together. We're all the influencers, all the car clubs. I mean, everything. Shouts to the homie Long Beach Carlos. influence error. Willie, he's from San Pedro, he makes all the shirts. Slick Vic, you know, you got me, you got Tony A doing his thing in Weed Mize. Shouts to Norbit, Be Scanless. I mean, you got a lot of Little Faded. There's a lot of good people coming up. You know, like we're making a presence known, but I feel like honestly, in my opinion, I want to say maybe about 5 to 9 more years. We're Harbor area is gonna be is gonna like wreak havoc. We're coming up. It's always like this. It's always Harbor area against the world.
It is. That's
And
how I see it too, low key, and that's how I feel.
yeah, because you know why I noticed was like I always ask certain Harbor area people like, what do you think that is? It's always us against the world because we're survivors. If you're here alive, why? You weren't dead from the '90s. You know, you're here, you're making it, you're doing out there. You're not going to give up because if you're living in the Wilmington, you know, the Harbor area, it's the heart of the Harbor area.
You gotta have heart.
You're gonna have heart to get out. You know, my heart was for me to be like, yo, I know how Wilmington raised me to be a man and to go through certain obstacles in life, but I'm still fucking here. To me, if I wasn't born or wasn't living in the Harbor area, I don't know how my heart would be like. I would be like a quitter, a pussy, and shit. So I'm kind of happy. I live in the Harbor area. I'm happy. I'm proud to be from Wilmington. There's people out there who are not proud to be where they're at. I know people be like, "You're from Wilmington, but you don't come back. Well, you're a pussy." You know, like you gotta give back to your community. You gotta give back. I always reminisce of the days of Wilmington, where pretty much in a way it's like Wilmington made me who I am today.
You think about the waterfront. Oh, how they
It's
want to do
sad.
this construction.
To me it's sad because you know you hear speculations of protocols like the food is nasty and this, but it's history. You know, a lot of people don't know. I'm gonna do a lot of histories and some episodes, you know, about the protocol and you know making a mall and stuff. It's gentrification. There's no going around it. Gentrification is going to kill the harbor area's identity, even Long Beach's identity, because you know condominiums and stuff. A lot of people are moving from different countries to our areas because it's more cheaper. And this is the thing I want to say. This I don't know if we have time, but when it comes to investing, like people, like blacks, Mexicans, Asians, whatever, invest on your own property because if not, you're gonna have other people from other states buying property and they're gentrifying everything, and that's where you're gonna see a lot of the communities get extinct. And because they can't afford it, they have to move to other cities where they can afford. Where I saw a lot of harbor area people are moving to San Bernardino, uh, Victorville, and all that stuff because of gentrification. It's crazy.
I think more a lot of people moving to Texas too, like from California.
Texas is getting expensive and all that stuff, and also at the same time, a lot of people don't know this because of the economic crisis. We're going to go to war. A lot of the citizens who live in the United States are moving to different countries to save money. A lot of people are moving to Baja or certain countries where they're starting to crack down on certain can't really say what, but they're trying to survive and go where the economy is good, where it doesn't crash. And a lot of Japanese people are moving to California because it's so expensive over there. They have opportunities to move in California and all that, and it's like, oh, this is nothing. This is like, hey, we're paying so and such dollars for Japan, but if I live in the United States, it's like, oh shit, I can afford this, you know. So you're gonna see a lot of changing and stuff like that. So changing of the guard, but when it comes to gentrification, there's no going around it. It just times are changing.
How do you like living in California?
It's getting to the point now. It's all gonna come out. You know, um, we're one of the richest states in the United States. I did some research, and they had a category of the richest states in the United States, and we're number one. You know, but when you kind of think like that, and that's how much money we make. Where's our money going to? Makes you think and wonder, like, why is it that a lot of people are getting laid off, but we have all this money? And this is the thing when it comes to our government, like, we're spending money giving aid to Ukraine and this or whatever and stuff. And that could, you never know what money is going into that, money laundering or this or whatever. And that's what happened when, you know, if you think about the movie with Tom Hanks, Charlie Wilson War, You know, he was trying to gather money to go against the Russians, you know, in Afghanistan. But when the Cold War was over and shit like that, everyone went back to normal. When we needed money to help out schools and this, whatever, when it comes to our own state, they don't want to. So what those corporations, they pocket their money, this, whatever. It's just, to me, it's just really sad to see, like, well, what would happen if we had all this money instead of sending it to foreign countries or to wars, because our country is a military industrial country. If we weren't like that, because the people who talk about it, that we're not going to be this, they get killed. No one talks about John F. K, you know, wanting to get out of the military industrial and all that, and they made an example out of him. Because if we had all that money, our country would be like flourished. You know, it would be like, wow, like hell yeah, like there would be no more homelessness. We could fix our schools, educate. I mean, we could be cool, but it's just, for some kind of reason, we just want to butt into other people's countries, but we need to focus on our own. That's why, in a way, the United States is not fully healed. We need to heal and not worry about drama from other worlds and stuff. Let's just focus on us.
Any shout out, anything you want to promote before we end?
I just want to say thank you, Little Faded, for having me on. Shouts to most hated bully, most hated motherfucker. Yeah, man, this episode was pretty cool. I feel like, honestly, this episode, I feel like we just scratched the surface.
Pretty much. This is probably the longest episode I had, and I kind of freestyle it too. I usually have my notes and all that.
Yeah,
too.
but I feel like it's almost like, in a way, we want to be like the movie, like Meet the Zohan. Can I get one pee touch? I'm just giving you a little sneak peek, a little tease, but there's levels to this. I mean, next time we'll talk about certain things. We didn't talk about the Twitter files or certain things with the Epstein. I mean, we did address certain things, but I'll just say this. If you're going to follow the Epstein's Island conspiracies or what's going on in the Twitter files and everything, you do your research and you go into these rabbit holes. I will tell you this. You see all this stuff, drama on television, social media, or Andrew Tate. Don't worry about this. Or they tell you, hey, MegaMan, look that way for all the shit's going on, the UFOs and all that crap. Fuck that. I want to look this way. Follow the money. When you follow the money, it's going to lead you to a lot of stuff where you cannot sleep at night.
So you already know, MegaMan.
Yeah.
Yo, Faded.
Yeah, and also follow the Long Beach Social Experiment podcast. And again, man, I'm just grinding, getting out there. And I want to give a shout out to the Long Beach area people, Harbor area, San Pedro, Weedmas, Wilmington. Shout outs to the whole crew over there. And to everyone around the world, even to the Ukrainian soldiers watching or hearing the Long Beach Social Experiment or the Little Faded podcast. Mm-hmm. And to everyone around the world, I love you guys and ladies.
And we out.